Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. All right, I have Kevin Joseph. He is the co-owner and VP of Marketing at Finsters. Kevin, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Michael. How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can. I'm glad you're here. All right, Kevin, give us some background on you because you've worked with Kind Bars, PepsiCo, and what you're doing with Finsters. And then I want to know how you and the Grateful Dead actually got together for Finsters.
Totally. Well, quick background on me. I've been in the food industry for about 10 years now. I got started at PepsiCo. From there, I went to Kind Bar and I started really getting into healthier ingredients, better products, and even brands that have a purpose behind them, a little bit more meaning. And then a couple of years ago, a group of guys and I decided to start Finsters, which is a great, thin, snackable cookie with no artificial ingredients and it's non-GMO. So we try to bridge the gap between healthy and indulgent to make a cookie that tastes great, but it's also better for you too. So there they are, Finsters cookies. We went nationwide about a year and a half ago, and things have been going really well. So that's a little bit of background on me and a little bit about the cookies.
How did you get together with the Grateful Dead? I mean, I've never seen their name on anything except their own albums.
Yeah. So about 6 months ago, this is a story where two brands were both kind of looking for the same thing. And when we bumped into each other, we realized it was a perfect fit. So about 6 months ago, the Grateful Dead, well, it started before that. About 2 years ago, the Grateful Dead realized they started to want a younger audience. So as you know, the Grateful Dead has had this amazing cult following since the 70s, but a lot of those baby boomers are getting older and may not be carrying on the Grateful Dead's amazing music and genre for many decades into the future. So the Grateful Dead were looking for ways to stay relevant and to bring a young audience into that band, into that brand, so that it can continue forward. And they started doing things like John Mayer, for example, being their lead singer, and partnering with brands that can build awareness to a younger following so that people in their teens, people in their 20s can now recognize and understand what the Grateful Dead are and what they've brought to music and the culture. And so we, as a young, healthier brand, we're also looking for a partner who could help us drive awareness, that could help us be relevant, and that also fit within our values. We pride ourselves on being an independent cookie brand that disrupted our industry with a healthy, fun cookie, and we know that the Grateful Dead are a brand that pride themselves on being transparent and being nothing artificial, being very raw, and also disrupted their industry. So when they were looking for someone who could help drive awareness to a young millennial audience, which is who we connect with, and we were looking for someone that could help resonate with our audience and help drive awareness for us, it was just a great fit. You know, the Grateful Dead does an amazing job at bridging gaps. They've got of course an older following, but they've started to bring on this really young following. They're bridge the gap between a modern and a traditional sense with their modern way of innovating music, but still this traditional sense of keeping it very raw in how they innovate their music. They're not trying to innovate too far, but they're keeping true to their roots. And the way that they've bridged gaps, we think is so special for any brand, let alone any music group to do. And we feel like cookies and food really does the same, bridges gap between people and brings people together to have a great time, to enjoy life and have special moments. So it was a really synergetic fit, and we're very honestly honored and proud to be able to wear their brand on our chest. And And we launched these limited edition cookies next week, and we think it's going to be a huge hit.
Now, where are we going to be able to pick these up?
I'm glad you asked. Well, we're in retailers nationwide. So we're in Sprouts, we're in Target, we're in Walgreens, we're in Kroger. You can always go to finsters.com/retailers and find the closest place to your house to go pick them up. But we're going to be across the country, and it's perfect timing because the Grateful Dead or Dead & Co. Are on tour right now, all the way through July and even into August. So we're actually even having this big consumer engagement piece on Facebook and Instagram, where if you can find one of our Grateful Dead bags, you post a photo with it with the hashtag Grateful Finsters, and you will win Grateful Dead prizes. So we're going to have autographed guitars. We're going to have special T-shirts, bandanas, you name it. Just because we want to have fun with this program. We want to celebrate the partnership. And we want to get young people to recognize and be aware of how great this band is. So be sure to be on the lookout for that and be on the lookout for our cookies.
Definitely. Now, I've got some of the swag set out plus the cookies here, so we're going to mix some of those pictures in with the T-shirts, the scarf, and the cookies. Any other swag you send to me, I'll definitely be able to send it out to my friends. Where are you taking the brand now? You're launching throughout the United States in all these stores. You mentioned them, but this is something that can be in a global wave, because the Grateful Dead working with you on this basis has got deep roots. That now it's Grandpa getting the Finsters and giving it to his grandchild. I mean, that is such a brilliant move on your part. Tell me about the global rollout, and if you're accepting investment, because I know a lot of people who buy it just because of the brand, let alone the brilliance that you have in building your company.
Well, thank you very much. We have some big things planned. I know that the Grateful Dead have their 50th anniversary of American Beauty, their album that came out, their best-selling album that came out, and that 50th anniversary is next year in 2020. And we've already been in talks with them that I'm going to kind of save it until 2020, but about making this an even bigger way to celebrate the Grateful Dead and to continue to bring the Grateful Dead to a younger audience so that their music continues to be relevant for many generations to come. So we are looking at a lot of big ways to keep this going, and I can't tell you how much excitement there has been. I mean, more people are talking about both Finsters and the Grateful Dead than they have in years, certainly ever for our brand, and I think more in the last year than they have in a decade for the Grateful Dead as well. So it's really working for both of us, and it's rare you find two brands that can work so cohesively together, and we're really excited about continuing the partnership.
Yeah, me too. All right, Kevin, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. I've got a couple of guys I want to introduce you to, so don't hang up after we close out and say goodbye to the audience, all right?
All right, Michael, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.